Lucas used to treat boredom like a problem to be solved immediately. A quiet afternoon, a few minutes in line, a slow train ride, a pause between tasks, and there was that uneasy little feeling. So he'd reach for his phone, open a feed, start a video, tap into something, anything. He wasn't really choosing what to watch. He was just escaping the silence. And if you've ever done the same, you'll know the feeling. It's almost automatic. The moment life goes still, we panic and fill the gap. But here's the strange part. That empty feeling isn't always the enemy. In fact, boredom might be the brain doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Not failing, not being lazy, just sending a signal, a nudge, a quiet message that says, all right, this isn't doing it for me. Go look for something else. And when Lucas first heard that, he laughed. So you're telling me boredom is useful now? He said, half joking, half skeptical. But the more he looked into it, the more it made sense. Because boredom isn't just about having nothing to do. It's about the brain noticing there's no real stimulation, no reward, no challenge, and deciding it's time to move on. It's like an internal alarm that doesn't scream, it just gently taps you on the shoulder. That's where things get interesting. When we stop stuffing every spare second with noise, another part of the brain gets a chance to wake up, the default mode network. Sounds technical, sure, but all it really means is this. When you're not focused on a screen, a task, or constant input, your mind starts wandering in a different way. That's often when reflection happens. Connections form. Problems soften. Ideas show up out of nowhere, usually when you're washing dishes, sitting on the veranda, or staring out the window for a minute longer than usual. And maybe that's why some of our best thoughts arrive when we're doing nothing. The brain finally gets room to breathe. So if boredom has always felt like wasted time, stick around. Because what if those quiet moments aren't empty at all? What if they're doing some of the most important work in the background? Lucas used to think boredom was a warning sign, like his brain was quietly failing him. A quiet afternoon would come along, and instead of sitting with it, he'd reach straight for his phone, flick on the telly, open another tab, anything to keep that empty space from settling in. It felt productive in a strange way, like he was doing something useful by never letting himself do nothing. But over time, he noticed something odd. The more he escaped boredom, the harder it became to focus, to think clearly, even to enjoy a simple moment without reaching for stimulation. Then he came across an idea that completely flipped his thinking. Boredom, it turns out, isn't a sign that something's wrong. It's a signal, a nudge from the brain saying, right, this isn't doing much for us. Let's go find something better. That empty feeling isn't the problem itself. It's the brain's way of encouraging change, curiosity, and movement towards something more meaningful. In a world where we're constantly flooded with noise, that little internal alarm can actually be incredibly useful. What's even more fascinating is what happens when we stop fighting it. When the constant input drops away, the brain shifts gears and starts using what scientists call the default mode network. That's the mental state where your mind drifts a bit, connects ideas, replays memories, and quietly works things out in the background. It's not laziness. It's a different kind of work. Often, it's the sort that leads to insight later on, when you're in the shower, out for a walk, or staring out the window with no agenda at all. And that's where boredom starts to look less like an inconvenience and more like an invitation. An invitation to reflect, to problem solve, to get creative, or simply to notice what's been buried under all the noise. Some of our best ideas don't arrive when we're forcing them. They show up in the gaps, in the pauses, in those moments we usually rush to fill. So maybe the next time boredom turns up, it's worth not panicking straight away. Maybe it's not here to waste your time, but to give you back a bit of your mind. And if that idea resonates with you, give us a like so more people can hear it too. What do you usually do when boredom kicks in? And if you're enjoying these little brain-shifting truths, go on and subscribe because the next part might change how you see your quiet moments altogether. And that's the strange little secret about boredom. It rarely arrives to ruin your day. It usually shows up because your brain is asking for something better than endless noise. For Lucas, that shifted everything. The moment he stopped treating every quiet gap like a problem to be fixed, he started noticing what those gaps could do for him instead. A walk without his phone, A cup of tea without a screen in front of him. A few minutes sitting in the car before heading inside. Nothing dramatic, just space. And in that space, his mind began doing what it was built to do. That's where the real magic of boredom lives. Not in the discomfort itself, but in what comes after. When the constant stimulation drops away, the brain's default mode network gets a chance to come online. That's the part associated with reflection, memory, imagination, and connecting ideas that didn't seem connected before. It's the mental background hum where solutions can surface, where old experiences get reprocessed, where creativity quietly gets back to work. Sometimes the best idea you have all week won't arrive while you're pushing for it. It'll arrive when you're washing the dishes, staring out the window, or doing absolutely nothing in particular. And maybe that's the lesson here. We don't always need to outrun boredom. Sometimes we need to listen to it. It could be a signal that your mind has had enough input, enough chasing, enough background chatter. A little boredom can be healthy, even necessary. It gives your attention a chance to reset. It gives your thinking room to breathe. It can even help you reconnect with parts of yourself that get drowned out by constant entertainment. So maybe the next time boredom knocks, don't panic and reach for the nearest distraction straight away. Sit with it for a moment. See what shows up. You might be surprised by the clarity that follows. If this gave you a new way to look at those quiet moments, give the video a like. And I'd love to know, when boredom hits, what do you usually do? And if you enjoy unpacking the weird, wonderful science of everyday life, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.